Hey there, everyone. I'm Storm Team 8 meteorologist Ashley Baylor in the News 8 Now Stream Center. We have made it to Wednesday. I keep thinking it's Thursday, but it's actually Wednesday, so you will have to pardon me because I feel like that's about to come up at some point throughout this little weathercast here. But we're not just going to be talking weather today. Of course, we are going to be talking about this right here. In addition to the fact that we've been talking about a lot of heat, there have been some strong storms in some places. On top of all of it, we had this massive earthquake that hit off of the eastern Russian peninsula there. And of course, I have a friend to talk about it with me. We have our intern, Matt. He is here today. Matt, here's what I love is that everybody thinks that meteorologists know everything about earthquakes and tsunamis, but it's a common misconception about us because even though we might dabble in it to some degree, it's not necessarily our area of expertise. But I feel like being an earth or atmospheric scientist, you have to know a little bit about everything.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And truth be told, when I was looking at schools, in addition to looking at meteorology, I said, well, what if I don't want to do weather? I started looking into seismology and volcanology, and I said, well, what am I going to do with this? Well, we're going to learn a little something about earthquakes. And yep, volcanoes get involved in there too. All right, so here's the basic details of what happened with this one. We had this 8.8 magnitude earthquake off the eastern Russian coast. It was right along the peninsula there. And this is miraculously tied for 6th place as far as strongest earthquakes by magnitude. Which is just incredible. And the thing is, earthquakes, the way they're measured, it's not linear. When you're talking about a difference between an 8.0 magnitude earthquake and an 8.8 magnitude earthquake, it's actually pretty significant. Now, back in 1952, a 9.0 magnitude earthquake hit in the same vicinity, and that triggered a Pacific-wide tsunami. So when this one happened, and just under a 9.0, it basically led everyone to say, okay, we've been through this before. We kind of know what to expect. And what's important to understand is this was a specific type of earthquake. This was called a megathrust earthquake, which is a type of subduction earthquake. And when we talk about subduction, that means one plate essentially moves, it slides under another. So looking at this huge Pacific plate here, it actually slid under the Okhotsk plate, which is very small. It's much smaller. It's just north of Japan and just south of the peninsula there. So you can see that little, those red circles there, that's where that earthquake happened. So Pacific plate slid under the Okhotsk plate. And what that does is that causes a vertical displacement of the seafloor. Basically, the seafloor moves up and it forces the water up as well. So that triggers a tsunami. So I'm gonna let you take it from here, Matt. We got the subduction zone, so then what do we expect beyond that?
So when you have that subduction zone, when you have an earthquake, you have the two plates kind of slipping. So there's a lot of pressure between the plates. And so when they do slip, it might just be a couple of meters that the earth can shift, but that actually can cause, because of the size of those plates, can actually displace an awful lot of water. And that will go out radially. And that is what a tsunami is. And overseas, the wave is actually not very tall. It can travel very fast, up to 500 miles per hour, which is why it can go all the way across the Pacific in just a matter of hours. And it's the reason why there was a tsunami warning in Hawaii and the Pacific Northwest and California. But once that wave comes to shallower waters, it's going to meet a little bit of friction. It's going to become taller, and that is when you get the waves that can actually inundate the coast and cause damage. And that's what we saw in some areas, especially Russia, with this one.
You know what I find fascinating about these, and this is something people don't realize, is that this is not all tsunamis. This is, it's just the luck of the draw. But at times, as the tsunami is moving in, the water actually recedes. We've seen this with hurricanes as well. It's rare, but we do see it with hurricanes, where the water actually gets pulled out of a certain area, whether it's a bay or off the coast. And within minutes, that water can come rushing back in. And there's a lot of misconception that tsunami is one big rogue wave. It's not. It's actually a series of waves that get pushed on shore because, again, that water's gone up, it's gone out, it's got to go somewhere. And eventually, it's going to hit some coastal area. Now, luckily, in this instance, when it came to Hawaii, when it came to the Aleutian Islands and the northern California coast, we did not hear of any significant damage. But I think, when you hear of an earthquake being this strong, it takes you right back to Indonesia. It takes you back to Japan. I believe this was the strongest one since the Japan earthquake. So you're talking, gosh, 2011?
Yeah, 2004, 2011.
Boy, man, I've been around too long. I've been walking this earth too long. But yeah, so that's what happened with that one. And, we have to, monitor these things because sometimes you get foreshocks that lead to the bigger earthquake, and then you get some pretty strong aftershocks. Even some of the aftershocks can be strong enough to trigger tsunamis. But the good news is that a lot, I think actually all, as far as the U.S. territory is concerned, all of the tsunami warnings have been dropped. We do still have some advisories. All right, so taking a look closer to home, here's a look at our satellite and radar composite, where we do have a couple of very lonely showers popping up. One is over Litchfield County. The other one, oh, so itty bitty, out towards Norwich there. But we are going to see a couple more showers and thunderstorms fire up as we go through this afternoon and this evening. In fact, there is a marginal risk that a couple of storms may be on the strong side, not only producing downpours, but there is going to be the potential for some strong wind gusts as well. Of course, we will let you know if any watches or warnings are issued. And in the meantime, this heat advisory is still in effect through the rest of this afternoon. We've been sweating it out for the last 3 days. We're at 93 degrees as we take a look in Long Wharf. In Hartford, we're at 94. You can actually see that haze in the atmosphere and a few of those puffy cumulus clouds. We're at 92 degrees in Danbury. It's 93 in Bridgeport, 86 in New London, although it's not really cooler there because the dew point is still around 73. Dew point's doing a little bit better today, more in the range of the mid to upper 60s, a few 70s. So as far as the heat index goes, yeah, it feels like 104 in Waterbury, 103 in Torrington, but we're not seeing as many century marks on this map as we did yesterday. Now, we do have an onshore breeze, so if you're out at the shoreline, that probably feels decent. I'm not saying it feels refreshing necessarily, but I'm sure it feels decent. Here's a look at our hour-by-hour forecast, which is going to continue to show those pop-up showers and thunderstorms. Nothing that'll be widespread, but, if your kid has outdoor cheerleading practice, I may be speaking on myself there, or has football practice, baseball practice, that might get in the way. Now, as you go through the overnight hours, I think we'll stay mostly dry. We might briefly see the clouds go away before more kind of fill in. So going into Thursday, we are looking at mostly cloudy skies. But as we go towards lunchtime, we are likely going to see some showers and thunderstorms develop. And it's going to stay pretty soggy through the afternoon and evening hours. Now, notice these splashes of yellows and orange popping up here. That's indicative of some bouts of moderate to heavy rainfall. So as these bouts of heavy rain move through, that increases our risk of seeing flooding. So that's why we do have a flood watch that has been hoisted for the entire state starting Thursday afternoon and running all the way through Friday afternoon. So tonight, increasing clouds. Of course, it is going to stay muggy. Temperatures will drop into the lower 70s. And then tomorrow, on and off thunder showers, and it is going to be noticeably cooler with temperatures only in the mid to upper 70s. All right, Matt, close us out with the 8-day here.
Well, look at this weekend. It's looking beautiful compared to this rain that we're going to be dealing with Thursday and Friday. We're going to have a big upper level trough moving in that's going to bring us some lower humidity and cooler air. And then it's going to hang around through early next week.
I mean, the weekend's just looking absolutely stunning.
Yeah.
It really is. It's looking so beautiful. We just have to get through Thursday and Friday. Oh man, I've never wanted a weekend to get here so badly, but the weekend looks fantastic. Of course, Saturday is Hartford Healthcare's Swim Across the Sound. I had Matt looking at how the wave heights are going to be during that. At least they're going to be better on Saturday than they will on Friday. I know Friday, some of the volunteer boats try and get out to Port Jefferson because that's where the swimmers do get on, and looks like it's probably going to be a little bit of a rough ride. But here's hoping the Dramamine works if the swimmers do need it on Saturday. Sunday looks fantastic, and most of next week looks great. All right, that's it for us, guys. We'll see you right back here tomorrow. Take care.